Hi, this is Kat with Beadaholique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make an even count peyote ring, which is what I have right here on my table. So let me go ahead and pick this up so you can see that it's a nice little strip of peyote that's been zipped up, so I'm going to show you how to do that. And this is a really fun thing. You can create your own little patterns with it, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the patterns here. But it's just a nice little slim ring. This is going to be 6 beads wide, so that is why we're going to do the even count today. So we do have another video showing you how to do the odd count. It is very similar, but I just wanted to showcase the even count here. All right, so to do this, we are going to be using some Miyuki Delicas, and these are really wonderful for peyote because they're these little cylindrical, tiny little square-like tubes that are going to fit together really nicely. So I brought out 2 colors here, so I'm going to make this exact pattern. But I did bring out some other colors just as a small selection of some of the other really rich, beautiful colors of Miyuki Delicas that we have here at Beadaholique.com. All right, for tools, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the Smoke FireLine in the 4-pound. I'm going to be using the Smoke today so that it shows up on camera. However, for this particular project, I did use the crystal because you don't really want to see that on the sides. All right, and then we're going to be using some size 12 beading needles, and I have my thread zap as well. So if you have everything ready to go, let's go ahead and get started. So I have my size 12 beading needle, and I'd say about 3 to 4 feet of thread. You don't need a whole lot here, but go ahead and err on the side of safety. And we're going to start doing a really basic even count peyote. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my pink beads here, and I'm going to string it on, and I'm going to bring it all the way down towards the end of my thread until maybe there's about 8 to 12 inches or so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through that bead with my needle, and this is going to be my nice little bead stopper. So you see I have it just about 8 inches or so from the end. So now to do our even count peyote, I'm going to start my pattern with a very basic pattern. It'll be nice and easy for you to see. So we're going to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, because we're going to do 6 columns, all right? And we're going to pull that down, and it's going to stop at my little stopper bead. So now I'm going to pick up another purple bead, and I'm going to skip over that very first bead there, and I'm going to go into the second one there. So kind of sneak my needle through there and going only into that second bead and pulling that down. And let me kind of scooch that together and show you what it looks like here. So it looks like we have a little trio there at the bottom. All right, so then I'm going to pick up another purple bead, and I'm going to skip over that next bead and go into the one that is that sort of 4th bead there and pull that through. And again, you can just sort of see how these start to alternate and look like little bricks, just like so. All right, and then one more bead. So pick up another purple bead and go into that last purple bead there. Make sure not to catch that bead stopper. And go ahead and pull that tight, and then we're just going to sort of scooch everything together, and you can scooch up your little bead stopper there. So we should have this as our little starting point here. Now we're going to turn our thread around and go back. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up another purple bead, and I'm going to go through that first little up bead there, but only that up bead. And then we're going to pull tight, and then I'm going to repeat. I'm going to pick up another one, go through that next up bead, and pull tight. And just repeating another purple bead and going through that next little up bead there. All right, and let's check our tension, just kind of make sure everything is nice and tight there. There we go. So this is our little even count peyote. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a few more rows of just the purple. And this is, oops, I added one extra bead, so I gotta go back through. Little mistake. So this is a really basic even count peyote. There we go. So only pick up one bead at a time. Go through that first one there. There we go. So I'm gonna keep beading as I walk through a couple of things. So this is going to be 6 beads across and 36 beads, and that's gonna give you about a 7.5 to 8 size ring. Now, because it's so thick, sometimes ring sizing when it's really thick like this can be a little difficult. So what you might want to do is sort of just have a little option to figure that out yourself in terms of, figure out your pattern and keep weaving until you get to your desired length. So I'm going to keep going with my pattern, and the pattern you can find, it's a free pattern. It is at beadaholique.com, and it will be under this project, which we'll provide a link for in the description below. All right, so I'm going to keep weaving, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like in just a moment. All right, so I have my pattern fully laid out here. So this is that 36 by 6 I was talking about. Now, I want to point out something to you. When I was creating this pattern, I left a little space on either side so that I could adjust it so it wouldn't really affect the pattern. Also, this is a pretty forgiving pattern, so if you wanted to just sort of do that central point, you could do that, or you could do rows or columns. It just is entirely up to you, but the reason I did that is because I wasn't quite sure of the size that I wanted to achieve. So what you can do is, let's say you get to this point here and you realize that's as far as you want to go. Well, when you connect it with the other side that you'll see here that we'll do in just a moment, you won't really care that that's a little bit shorter than what you intended because it will still look like the same join. Okay, so let's talk about the join. So the basic way that peyote is going to zip up is those beads are going to fit together. So I'm going to come to my beginning side and I'm going to take off that bead stopper. You can just slide that right off. And what's going to happen is this is going to come together and sort of fall into place. It's going to sort of zip together, just like so. So what we're going to do is the side that your needle's already on, you can just start there. And then I'm going to kind of show you how this works. All right. And let me get it situated so you can see really easily. Okay, so we're coming out of our little top bead right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up and over the top, and we're going to come over to this side here and go through that first little bead. And just kind of pull that together. So you see that it wants to zip itself up. And then I'm going to come across here. This is sort of similar to as though you were adding another row. So I'm going to go through on the other side. So you kind of get this crisscross happening. You just see that that wants to come together. And then you go across to the left here and go through that bead and pull that together. So this is the zip. So you can see now that those purple beads are butting up against each other there, you can see how you can just do this at whichever point in your pattern you have. Just make sure that you're not crossing over, you're just crisscrossing, you're going sort of back and forth, that you're not kind of going underneath. So then you come to this point here, so you have those two tails. So what you're going to do is you're just going to come around to this side and sort of pretend like you're going to zip it back up going the other way. Just like so. So you bring that together. So now you can't even see, aside from where the thread is, that we did a little seamless join. Okay? So all we need to do now is I like to kind of get my thread to the other side here. And you can just go up. You can get through 2 beads if that allows, but don't rush it. And let's go up one more here. And now what I'm going to do is just to tie it off, I'm going to catch that little thread bridge on one side just by sticking my needle underneath there, making a loop, going back through that loop, and you'll see that I get a nice little knot there on the end. And now just go down through a couple of beads, and that knot will sort of disappear. All right, and I'm just going to go down through. Now you can go up and down and tie as many knots as you like to feel secure. I just like to kind of go through, make a little loop. One more little loop here. And we're done. All right, so now I'm just going to remove my needle from that side. And go ahead and attach your needle to the other side. Now we've already done the join. You can go over that if you want with your needle, but I just recommend that you, at this point, you can just tie off this thread. So all I'm going to recommend you do is sort of go around to another side there. Go up through a bead or 2. Move through. All I'm trying to do is just get my needle to that other side there so that I can do the same thing up here at the top. Go down, catch a little thread bridge, bring it back through that loop, tie a little knot, and go down through a few beads here. You can see that I'm going, like I said, I'm going down through a couple beads at a time. You don't have to do that if, again, it doesn't allow. These are glass beads, so you want to always be careful about cracking a bead. So just go down one at a time. And I'm going to do my little loop again. This for me just helps tie off that thread just with a little extra security because we don't have a lot of bead weaving here to work with, and odd count is a little stronger there, so there we go. All right, so now I just remove my needle, and then I can come in with my thread zap, press the tip to let it heat up there, and I'm just going to snap off that one, and there we go, that one. Had a little extra on that one. All right. So now we are done with our ring. So now I have two beautiful rings here, but this is a really fun, easy peyote to work with, especially if you have done even count peyote before. I know I did a very quick version here today, but this is just even count peyote and you can zip it together to make a lovely ring. So you can get all of these supplies and see even more tutorial videos by heading over to Beadaholique.com. And if you're new to our YouTube channel here, be sure to hit that subscribe button below and of course that notification bell to get notified when we have brand new videos from Beadaholique.